Okay, 11.6 solves higher degree polynomials that look similar to quadratic form. So if you have a trinomial, so 3 terms, where the highest exponent is even, or the numerator is even, or something like that, and the middle exponent is half of that highest, you can solve it exactly like a quadratic equation. There's just one extra step at the end. So let's look here. This first one, our highest is a 6. That is even. The other exponent is a 3, which is half of 6, so we can do this. So I'm going to solve it. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So we have 2x to the 6 plus x third minus 1. Now I can solve this. So I'm going to tic-tac-toe. A times C. 2 times negative 1 is what's going to give us what we want. Greatest common factor, multiply up, multiply across. So we have 2x minus 1 and x plus 1. Here's where that extra step comes in. Because this is a 3, we need to put the 3's here. Then we can solve now that we have to the third. So 2x cubed minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. 2x cubed equals 1. Then I'm going to divide by 2. And I get x cubed equals 1/2. To undo a cubed, I do the cubed root. So x is the cubed root of 1/2 as one of our solutions. Over here, we have x cubed plus 1 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. We get x cubed equals -1. We take the cubed root. Cubed root of -1 is -1. And there are our solutions. All right, let's look at this one. Same idea. We have a -2, so 2 is even, and 1 is half of 2, so we can solve. I'm going to start by taking out a greatest common factor of -1. So I have 6m minus 6m squared minus 13m to the -1 minus 5. Just so that my first number is positive. I like that. Then we do a times c. So that would be -15 and 2. Greatest common factor. Multiply up. Multiply across. We get 3x plus 1 and 2x minus 5. Here, that's a -1, so we need to put a -1. Now we can solve them. So 3x to the -1 plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 from both sides. Divide by 3. X to the -1 equals -1/3. To get the x on the other side, using our exponent rules, we'd flip it. So -1 over 1 flips to be the same thing. So we have -1/3 to the -1. And a negative exponent would flip our fraction. So we get -3. Then we do the same thing for this other one. 2x to the -1 minus 5 equals 0. Add 5 to both sides. We get 2x to the -1 equals 5. Divide by 2. X to the -1 equals 5 over 2. To get that exponent over there, we flip it. And then that negative exponent is going to flip our fraction. So x equals 2/5. Those would be our 2 solutions to this one. All right, let's look at another one. Here, our numerator is 2. 1 is half of 2, so we can do the same thing because 2 is even. A is 1, B is -2, A times C is -8. So our factors are -4 and 2. Greatest common factor, multiply up, multiply across. We get x plus 2, x minus 4. Now we're just going to stick 1/3 as our exponent. And we can solve. X to the 1/3 plus 2 equals 0. Let's subtract 2. X to the 1/3 equals -2. To get it on the other side, we flip it. So 3 over 1, which is 3, and negative 2 to the third is negative 8. Then we're going to do the same thing here. X to the 1/3 minus 4 equals 0. Add 4 to both sides. So we get x to the 1/3 equals 4. Flip the exponent to get it over there. And 4 cubed is 64. So there are those solutions. Now, over here, we don't have a quadratic. We don't have 3 terms, and we don't have a middle one, so we can't do that. But we do have a difference of squares. X to the 4th is x squared squared, and 1 is 1 squared. So we can rewrite this as a difference of squares with x squared plus 1 and x squared minus 1. The x squared minus 1 can be broken down into another difference of squares. So if I factor this whole thing, I end up with x squared plus 1, x plus 1, and x minus 1. Now I can solve each of those. So x squared plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 from both sides. X squared equals negative 1. Take the square root. And the square root of negative 1 is I. So we have plus or minus I. This one, x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1, we get negative 1. And then x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides, we get x equals 1. And there are our 4 solutions. 1, negative 1, positive, and negative I. Fractions are the same way. We're still looking at that exponent. Biggest one is 2. The other one's half of that. We want to get rid of the fractions. So we're going to multiply by the biggest denominator to get rid of the fractions. So x squared times 1 is x squared. And x squared divided by x is x. X squared times 1 is x squared. And x squared divided by x is 1. And then x squared times negative 1 is negative x squared. Now we have a quadratic equation. So I'm going to add x squared to both sides. I get x squared plus x plus 1 equals 0. And we solve this just like normal with no extra step because we already got rid of the fractions. So a times c. And there's nothing there that works, so I can't factor it. So we do quadratic formula. Opposite of b, plus or minus, b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. 1 squared is 1. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Times 1 is negative 4. 2 times 1 is 2. 1 minus 4 is negative 3. And that negative is going to come out as an I. So we get our solutions this way. That is 11.6. Let me know if you have any questions.